Visiting here today with Charles Stoltenow, our Dr. Charlie. He is the Dean and Director of Nebraska Extension. So, Charlie, thank you for joining us here today. It's a pleasure to have you on. How are you?
I'm good, and thanks for the opportunity. Always love to talk to our listeners out there and see what kind of things we can help them with.
Absolutely. Well, you are the Dean and Director of Nebraska Extension, but you also have an extensive background with veterinary medicine as well. So that was before you moved to Extension. So maybe just give us a brief overview, just fill us in a little bit on your background in veterinary medicine.
Sure. Well, I grew up on a small farmer feeder operation in the southern end of the Red River Valley in North Dakota. That's where I grew up. Went to North Dakota State for undergrad in animal science, graduated from Iowa State in veterinary medicine. And so I grew up around cattle, and so I said, you know what, I want to try something different. And so I went into equine practice, and actually was a racetrack veterinarian, a resident veterinarian on a 1,000-head Arabian breeding farm. And then I moved into regulatory medicine, a federal veterinary medical officer, and then extension. The reason I went into extension, we had an extension vet years ago in North Dakota whose name was Kurt Woldemuth, and the ranchers just loved him. And I thought, that's the job I want. And lo and behold, opportunity came up. So I was the extension veterinarian up at North Dakota State for 17 years, total of 25 years up there, and then came down to Nebraska here to be the Dean and Director. So that's the short of it, but have always been somehow involved in veterinary medicine.
Yeah, for sure. And definitely a very interesting background. I mean, you don't hear about too many, horse vets in the area. It's cool. I'm a horse person, so I like horses. But I guess moving on, I always hear about the fact that there's just a shortage of veterinarians out there. So, and especially large animal vets. Do you kind of, in this day and age and what you're experiencing now down at Nebraska, do you feel that's kind of a fair statement at all?
Well, there is, but it's not as simple as there's just not enough vets. There is a shortage. There really is. And Nebraska has developed a program called the Elite 11, and it's a program for residents of Nebraska. They start as a cohort together in undergraduate, and they work through till finally they'll get sent to vet school, 11 positions. I think it's all full tuition and everything, but they have to agree to come back for 8 years in rural Nebraska. And so that's a real commitment. I have wonderful students I've met. They are amazing. But the shortage, yes, there is a shortage, but the other part of this is these veterinarians, these young graduates coming out, many of them have pretty high debt load to become a veterinarian. And so one of the things they have to look at is, can they pay off that loan, have a house, have a family, all these things in a community. And so sometimes it's not as simple as we just don't have a veterinarian. We may not have enough business to afford a veterinarian just that way. So there are other programs across the United States where communities have bound together and said, look, we will underwrite. We will help with a clinic, or we will do these things so we can have veterinary service within our community. There are a number of different programs or things that people are doing out there. So, but I go back to Nebraska is making a real effort to make sure that we have the training available and the incentives for our young people to go into veterinary medicine, specifically large animal veterinary medicine.
Yeah, so definitely a lot of programs and just opportunities out there, like if somebody is interested. And I guess, do you have any just words of wisdom if maybe somebody's listening or they have a daughter or son that is, thinking about going into vet school and they're just on the fence right now and just, I don't know if I can make it work. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, my advice is veterinary medicine is an incredible career. I set out to be a practitioner. I loved my local veterinarians. I actually wanted to come back to my home community, which was great. Things didn't quite work out that way, but as a veterinarian, I have traveled the world. I've been to places I never expected to go. I actually, 35 years ago, I was the assistant state epidemiologist here in Nebraska for human medicine. And so veterinarians, the career itself, we have an idea of what we want to do, but it prepares you well to do almost anything you want to do.
Yeah, definitely a lot of opportunity if you decide to do it. So I guess with that, it also just goes on to show how important, like extension offices are too, and just you guys there at Extension are, just giving students just opportunities and, ways to get their hands on things. And it's also just really important to the state as well.
Right. And what we look at, so we have 93 counties in Nebraska. 83 of those counties have an extension office in them. We view our extension office as the front door to the university. That's how people get to the university. But another thing we're doing here is we're also the front door for the university to get to the people. For instance, we're working with the UNMC, University of Nebraska Medical Center, specifically the Fred and Pamela Buffett Cancer Center, on getting cancer awareness out to the population across the state. One of the things we did was, in your ag country, we know that there's a pesticide certification program, and usually everybody needs to be recertified every 3 years, right? And who's primarily that audience? Well, they're men aged from 18 to about 68. What do we also know about men aged 18 to 68? They rarely want to go to the doctor. They never get sick. They don't want to do that, and so things go undetected. And so we partnered with a Buffett Cancer Center, and we do awareness and trainings about screenings across the state. We reached 11,000 men this past spring, and we also detected some cancers that had been undetected. And so it's just a real win-win when you think about extension. Is not only how do our people, our residents, get to the university, but the other part of it is how do we get the university out to the people? So we do things that are in the best interest of people to help them.
Yeah, for sure. That's very, very cool. And it's just, you guys have stuff like that going on all the time. And it always just amazes me because I talk to, SDSU and, Iowa a little bit. And now you guys down in UNL or at Nebraska a little bit too. And there's just such a wealth of knowledge, around all of you guys in Extension. So I guess my point is just like, if you ever have any questions, you guys are great people to reach out to.
Well, we thank you for the endorsement. We also thank you for letting your listeners know, hey, Extension is here for you. Of course, go to your local office, go to your local connections, but really, if you need more help or you want something else that not everybody can do everything, call us up, contact us. We're here to help anybody.
Absolutely. All right. So I guess anything else I missed or anything to wrap up on, or I guess that's kind of all I have for you. So.
Well, the thing is, and it's up there too, it's county fair season, right? And it's a really good time for people to get together. We enjoy it. In Nebraska, we have a huge county fair system culminating in the state fair. And so I just encourage people to support your local fairs wherever they are. These are put on. The county fairs serve a really important social function in the social fabric of rural America. And so I just encourage you, get out there and let people see you. And if you see an extension person, just say hi and introduce yourself. And in extension, it's all about relationships. Do we have a relationship? Because we're here to help you with critical thinking skills. We're here to help you with leadership skills. And we're here to help you make connections.